Welcome, Tribe, to Wellness Wednesday, a live series on everyday healing. We're joined by registered nurse Jaleel McDonald, and we're talking about COVID-19 and the impact of the pandemic from a nurse's perspective. Hey, Jaleel, welcome to Wellness Wednesday.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Thanks for having me.
So let's get into it. Who are you? What do you do? Tell us who you are.
Okay, so again, like she said, my name is Jaleel McDonald. I'm currently a registered nurse, more specifically an ICU nurse. I currently work at Advocate Christ Medical Center in our adult surgical heart unit. Um, and I also, as it pertains to COVID-19, I work in our COVID ECMO ICU at Christ. Best part of my job, I think, is like when I have a patient, and then, like I said, in the ICU setting, somebody comes in, they're really acutely sick. They come in, they have a big surgery, and you see them at a vulnerable stage, and then you see them as they progress and heal. So I can see a patient come out of the operating room and look like absolute, for lack of better words, trash. And then, like I said, like when you provide that care over days and days and days, you see them progressing. They get off the ventilator, you mobilize them, and then like through their ICU stay, you see them like progress down to like the other floors. I think that's the best feeling, to know that you were like a heavy player in like their care and you really
Mm-hmm.
saved somebody's life, you know?
That's great. And so you talked about saving lives and that being a good part of your day. But how was that when you were able to work in the COVID unit? What was that experience like? Was it a mind? Like, how did you prepare yourself every day going into that?
I think like so obviously we've been dealing with COVID now for what 2.5 years or somewhere in that range, 2 years at least. And it was, I think when we first started, it was very scary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nurses that have been nurses for 20, 30, 40 years have like never dealt with a pandemic, you know. So to be like a newer nurse and to deal with a pandemic, it was like intense. Um, and then I think we started off nervous, and then I think like with the we got kind of desensitized to it over time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now even still, like to be completely honest, I'm a little desensitized to COVID. But as far as it pertains to like, I guess like the population as a whole, I think being a nurse, it was very stressful working COVID because a lot of people have different beliefs on the virus and how true it really is, and it being man-made and all of these different things. But I think it was
Yeah.
hard for me because, like, obviously, like with HIPAA laws, I can't wear a GoPro at work, and I can't show people like that people are really dying from this virus, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I told you before, I think that with COVID, you know, you have three different patients. You got people who get COVID and they don't really know that they're sick at all, and they're asymptomatic and they're going through their daily life, and they're spreading the virus. And then you got people who get sick, finally get tested, and they realize they have COVID, they get better in a week's time. And then you got your people, which is what we were dealing with on my unit, who have progressed to the point where they've needed to be ventilated and proned, and all of those therapies, the non-invasive and invasive therapies, don't work anymore. And then they
Mm-hmm.
end up on life support in my unit, you know what I mean, on ECMO. So to see those people, like I said, to where they're literally their lungs don't work,
Yeah.
um, and they get to the point where they're just going to get this ECMO life support therapy, or they're going to need a lung transplant. I think like that was like really taxing, and when you see people who say it's not a real thing.
Gotcha. Wow. That's a lot. So how did you process it on your own? Like when you got out of work, what was that like just going home? Because were you able to let it go? Were you able to just say, okay, that's that day or that patient?
I think I think it just kind of, like you said, like it depended on the patient. And I think like sometimes, like I said, with nursing as a whole, I think we sometimes get like a morbid sense of humor or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I feel like it's a coping and a defense mechanism. You know,
Yeah.
because if you really like take everything in, like we wouldn't be able to do our jobs. You know,
Mm, okay.
but I definitely like with COVID, I definitely would try to, and even just my job in general, like I try to like you said, like leave it there, and not bring it home. But I think depending on the patient, what they look like and on the conversation that you have with them, I think you definitely like sometimes are attached to more patients, some patients more than others. And like I said, especially like when they, look like you, I think that really touches home, a lot of times.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for doing that. I know that's something that you were kind of thrown into. All healthcare workers were kind of thrown into at a random time and random point in history. But I'm thinking about like fast forward, we're moving forward. Vaccines are out. People are outside, no mask. All these crazy changes in like an instant. So I'm still kind of nervous, and I still wear my mask. And even I feel like everywhere is just becoming too lax for my own liking. So, how do you feel about that? And how do you think we can move forward safely now that all these things are becoming so loose?
Well, I think it is scary because, like, even vaccination or not, you still can get COVID. I think people, forget that piece. Just because you've been vaccinated does not mean you can't get COVID. Um, but like you said, I kind of agree with that. Like, it is scary, and I still wear my mask.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. I think it will definitely just be like a weird adjustment trying to get back to normal life. I do think we need to do it. I do want to see like um, I love the movies. I love going to the movies.
Okay.
I love doing like
Mhm.
activities and different things. Like I have coworkers who have started in the last year and a half, and I don't even know what their face looks like. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it would be nice to like get back to regular life, but like you said, like we kind of like have to do it, smart. You know,
Mhm.
um, but like you said, like I guess we just gotta see how it goes. But I definitely would still be cautious about, very large gatherings.
What did you learn about yourself during this process, outside of work, outside of being up close, a frontline worker? First of all, thank you. Thank you for working for us, for saving these lives, and really caring about people, because I just felt like COVID headlines really just, you became immune to the numbers, you became immune to the stories because it was so many. So thank you. But I do want to know what you learned, how you grew over this time.
Um, I think, especially like with the pandemic, I think it just kind of showed me like that family is like really important. And it just kind of really showed, it put into perspectives to me like that life is like really not guaranteed. It's really not.
Mhm.
So like you should value and cherish like those times and those experiences, because that person could be gone tomorrow. You know what I mean? If you had a family member that was here a week ago and then they got severe respiratory failure, COVID-19 pneumonia, and died, like that person's gone. And
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing is that the time here that we have is limited. So
Yeah.
enjoy it as much as you can. Like you said, take care of yourself. Do things that make you happy, whether that's like working out, like I said, giving back to others, just living, just
Yes.
living life, just live. So
Mhm.
I think that's the biggest thing is just I try to um, always like treat myself, because again, like I said, tomorrow is never guaranteed. We expect it, we plan for it, but like I try to like live in now moments more than
Mhm.
down the line, because down the line may not be here.
That's right. So you just gave us a lot of good stuff, but I want to wrap up with a tribute to the tribe. And so what that is a piece of advice, a word of encouragement, something you live by, anything to kind of put a bow on what we talked about and help us keep healing as we go forward.
I would just say like one of my favorite quotes is like, "Why not me?" You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of times, like as African Americans, we feel like we're not good enough. I know, like growing up, like my grandparents like instilled in you, like, and just that's our culture in general. Like you got to be twice as good, to
Yes.
like half. You know what I mean? So I think
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times like we don't encourage ourselves and build ourselves up, and we think that we aren't capable of getting our master's degree, getting our doctorate degree, opening our own business. We kind of like shy away from those things, and you could have done it in reality. And like I said, like what if you were willing to work hard enough, like why couldn't you do it?
Yeah. I hear that. Tribe, this is Wellness Wednesday. How can we stay connected with you, Jaleel?
Um, I have a Snapchat.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's put
um,
us back on Snapchat.
you can reach out to me on Snapchat. My name is Mac Leel,
Mm-hmm.
MacLeel. And I think that's really, I mean, like I have Facebook, but I rather, Snapchat.
Okay, thank you.